I remember when it was a time where I felt guilty about the peace that I have created in my life. And it sounds crazy to say out loud, like, why would you feel guilty for creating peace in your life? But it's because everyone around me seemed like they were having such a hard time and they seemed like they were in this perpetual cycle of chaos and depression and stress. And I started to feel like I couldn't relate to them. And I started to feel, like if I can't relate to them, they probably feel that I'm unrelatable. However, I just had to kind of understand, like, I am actively working through this. I am actively working through the guilt that I feel for the peace that I have created in my life. And that is sounds so crazy to say, but you all are witnessing this in real time. I was about to say that I had overcome this feeling. But the truth is, like, I am actively still working through the guilt that I feel for the life that I have created for myself. And the reason why I think I feel guilty, for one, is because I don't meet a lot of people who live a very choice filled life. I don't meet a lot of people that literally understand that they have free will. A lot of people are stuck, for lack of better words, in a cycle. They are stuck in patterns and behaviors that they are not able to navigate and to break out of, even though they desire to, right? To me, I'm just like, just do it. Like, I'm just make a change. It's easy for me to say that. However, I don't know the mental shackles that are on people's minds to, make them feel as though they don't have choices in life. And I started to feel this guilt last year. I lived in Raleigh, North Carolina, and I would go out on a Thursday, just say maybe even a Wednesday. Let's just pick midweek. I would go out on a Wednesday and, I would go get me some coffee. And, it's like 11 a.m. And I would go for a walk on the trail. And I would look around and I would be like, dang, where are all the people at? Where are the people? Like, why is it not? Why are there no people around? And then one of my friends, he was like, well, not all of us get the option to dilly dally in the middle of the day. And I'm like, wow, that's unfortunate because I feel from where I sit, you actually do have that choice. However, maybe the money has you shackled, the system has you shackled, right? We can talk about systems all day long. Everything has a system. I have my own system for how I show up in the world. But a lot of people are stuck within the system of society and what society has told them they are supposed to do. And so I'm actively working through this guilt because, like I said, I don't meet a lot of people who can relate to me. And then what I found that I end up doing is I end up dimming my light because I don't want to make the next person feel inferior. But really, that don't got nothing to do with me, right? Like, that doesn't have anything to do with me if they do feel that way. And no one is going to say they feel inferior. For me, I feel everything, right? I feel everything. That's how I know that, it can be off-putting to someone to say, I, you know, I have freedom of time. I plan my schedule around the things that bring me joy. I plan my schedule around the things that I need to make my nervous system calm and at peace. At the top of the list, at the top is myself. At the top of my list is my peace, right? Everything comes after that. It's like myself, my daughter, money, and everything else after that. And if I put myself at the forefront, right, it's a lot of things within the self that I am focusing on before I'm able to get to my daughter. Before I feed my daughter in the morning, I have to meditate. And she knows that. Before I do anything to help her or to take care of her, I'm telling her, hey, don't forget, mommy got to take care of herself first so that I can help you. And it's just these, sometimes I feel like it's very, like, the concepts are quite simple in that you can kind of just, if you become aware first, it's always going to go back to consciousness. You have to be aware of yourself. You have to. You have to be conscious of yourself. But if I just go back to, if you know what you need, you know what you need to function, you know what you need to be at peace, make it a priority. And it sounds very simple to me. And I'm thinking back to, have there ever been a point? Yes. There was a point. There was a point in time where I did not put myself first. But that was before I had my daughter. Right? Like, there was a point in time where I was not the priority in my life. And I think when I had her, I made sure that I was the priority, because I understand that the root has to be fed before the fruit can bear, before the tree can bear fruit. The root has to be fed before the tree can bear fruit. And so I make it a priority ever since my baby was a little baby to take care of myself first, whether that be meditate, whether that be writing, whether that be me working out, whatever the situation may be. Like, I put myself first. And I want a lot of the things that I do for myself, I do them for myself first, but I also do them so I can be an example to her, because I want her to know that she's first. I want her to know how to put herself first. It's so important. I think that society has taught us that we should be selfless. I'm selfish. Proudly. proudly. I'm proudly selfish, because I know that if I can pour into myself, then I can pour into others. And I do want to pour into others, right? That's why I'm sitting right here having this conversation. This is me giving out the overflow of what I have poured into myself. This is the overflow that you all are getting. And so I felt guilty, because who am I to live a life, of ease? Who am I to get to travel on a random Tuesday? Who am I to, deserve all of these things? And I do deserve them, but you deserve them too. And that's the thing about it. I always look at everything from, like, a bigger perspective of, like, if I can do it, you can do it too. And the things that I have been blessed with, the next person can have it. Like, and even if you think about bigger things or bigger ways, or however you feel like different people are living their lives, like, you can do it too. Like, so it's literally no reason for me to feel guilty about the way I set up peace in my life, because the next person can have it. But it's still going to be something that I'm working through mentally. I'm still going to have to be reminding myself when I'm speaking about, I travel the world for work, or I can travel the world at the drop of a dime, just when I want to. When I'm starting to speak about the way that I'm living my life, I don't want to feel that I am slighting the next woman, or that I am trying to make the next woman feel like she's not doing enough. I just don't want that. I just want to live in my truth authentically, and I want to be an example. And that's why I'm here. That's why I'm telling my story. That's why I'm speaking. It's because I want all Black women to know that they can create their own reality, and that they do have the willingness, within themselves to write out, script it out. What do you want to live? How do you want to live it? And allow yourself to take steps towards that life. A lot of times, We have the saying, it's easier said than done. It is easier said. It's easier said. It can come out. The words that we speak out are spells. And I believe that. And so I'm always constantly speaking, peace, love, light over my journey. I'm always speaking and writing affirmations that affirm the woman that I am all day long. Everything is always working out for me. And it does. And it does. I think that as I am actively working through accepting my life and accepting my blessings, I am learning that what came to me right then is I am special. That was pretty cool. I'm gonna keep doing that. Even though it's like hella silence, but I am special. I am special. I am, and you are too. And my homeboy, when I talked to him, he was like, not everybody can do what you do. And I understand what he means by that. Even though I feel that everybody can do it on an energetic level, on a purpose level, on a educational level, mental level, spiritual level. Not everybody can do it. Not everybody wants to do it, right? It's not. But those who do want to do it. And if you are here, I just want to tell you that if you are here and you would like to live, a life of choice and freedom, you can do it. You just have to decide. It starts with one choice. It starts with one decision. It starts with one choice. It starts with one decision. Don't try to, or I'll say try not to create the whole plan, because the how is never, ever, ever your concern, right? So if you just take that principle, the how was never my concern, and if I just decide to do one thing, then it's a domino effect, and it'll go into this thing, and it'll go into this thing, and it'll go into this thing, then you will see that you have the freedom of choice, and you have the freedom of creating peace in your life, how you want to create peace in your life. I was just talking to my homegirl about this earlier, but I met her on a retreat, right? Me and her, we met on a retreat last summer. We went to Costa Rica, and I was so uncomfortable there. I was so uncomfortable, and in the moment, I didn't understand why. I didn't understand my discomfort, amongst the women. But I realized that I was uncomfortable because I didn't have the drama that they had going on in their lives. I didn't have baby daddy drama. I didn't have husband drama. I didn't have work drama. In the retreat. You think about a retreat, I wasn't escaping from my life because I love the life that I created for myself, right? I wasn't retreating from my everyday life because I know that I could have that every day. And I felt like I couldn't relate a lot to the women in the retreat because they were, right? They were retreating from their everyday lives. This was vacation time for them. It wasn't vacation time for me, so I say all that to say I am actively working through learning that my journey is mine to create, it's mine to share, it's my truth to live in, and I should not feel guilty for the peace that I have created in my life. I should not feel guilty for the order that I have created in my life. I have chaotic moments. I actually I kind of like the chaos though. But within the chaos, I can create peace. And that is a superpower. I'm grateful forever. And that's all I got for y'all. I hope that y'all enjoyed that message. Please be sure to like, subscribe, and leave me a comment. Talk to me. What do you like? What would you like me to discuss? Peace, love, and my beautiful souls.